Look at this. That is my parsley. That's almost as tall as me. So I'm holding it directly ahead. I'm probably about 5'7" for you Americans, about 165 or something like that for your Aussies and those who use actual metric measurements. So, look, almost as tall as me. Anyways, I'm here out walking in my yard with my rubbers. Just my skirt at the moment. Do some repairs on some of the rubber items that I have. Go through them, because sometimes, you know, when you take them off, you just put them in places and you go, oh, where can I find that? And sometimes it hides under a lot of things. I'm just doing a bit of a ramble today because there's a lot of things going on. A lot of my friends and all that are a bit concerned because I'm in Australia and they're seeing footage from Melbourne, which is a different state. I will say this, that Melbourne does not encompass the whole of Australia. However, it's starting to become pretty close to what's going on. Just like a lot of people believe that some things shown in the media encompass the whole country. It shows the mood in general and some of the extreme things that are going on, because, you know, conflict grabs headlines and stuff like that. You know, they say, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. So basically whatever they can do. There's a reporter down in Victoria, or a media person down in Victoria, who's actually doing quite a bit there. A couple of them actually, just recording and seeing what's going on. There's a few shocking footages that have come out. Yeah, what can I say? It's Victoria. I can see some of the other police forces in the other states going like that. Basically becoming a laughingstock. I feel sorry for those cops who've tried to engender good feelings among the community that they serve in and all that. That this kind of wipes a whole lot of stuff. All the years, decades of goodwill that have been built up, all the good programs and all that sort of stuff that have been built up, it wipes a lot of that away, because they see, it might not be in their state, but they see other cops doing this sort of stuff in the same country, and they think, oh, well, all cops are like that, and they start getting all edgy and stuff. One where a copper was being very arrogant and saw a person who was just come on for shift. They had temporarily taken off one of their scarves to be given by the supervisor a mask, and they were about to put the mask on. The cop says, oh, I want you to come over here and I'm going to fine you now, for like a few seconds of them replacing one face covering for another. Which technically, a lot of face coverings, like the actual proper surgical mask, you're only supposed to have for, I think, about 20 minutes. So you'll be constantly replacing the mask all the time, and so for that 1 second that you don't have the mask and you're ruffling around looking for another mask, someone can come and fine you, rather than say, oh, you know, what's going on, you know. They're supposed to use the discretion. But having said that, I did have to wonder about the increase in fines going on, because here in Australia we've got something called payroll tax, which gets collected. I'm not sure how often that gets paid out to the different states, but payroll tax is for the states, not income tax. Income tax is generally taken by the federal government. I think payroll tax is as well, but I'm not sure how often that gets paid out. And because a lot of businesses have fallen down and they're just not hiring a lot of people, obviously payroll tax has decreased. So I wonder if that's the reason why people are just so excited to get people fined, because that goes straight into the state consolidated revenue. Doesn't have to go via the federal government or anything like that. I will have to look into that, but I'm not sure. People can correct me if I'm wrong that know a bit more about this. That seems pretty weird. But what can I say? Follow the money. What else has been going on? Oh, I've been listening to some more YouTubers. Try not to get caught up in too much of the dramas that are going on. Dramas everywhere. Listening to things like Star Wars, that Star Wars girl. Occasionally Jeremy from the Quartering. Listen to a few funny reviews. Was it Pitch Meeting? A mate of mine suggested I look at Pitch Meeting. It was quite funny and amusing. But yeah. I also had a thought a little about communication when I was listening to one of the YouTubers, Kevin Samuels. He's an interesting bloke. Talking about communication and listening to, like, actually just listening to the information that's going on, and the way people, their style of communication and how they're doing it. And a lot of issues that I've seen throughout my life and in the kink community have to do with miscommunication and or people not knowing what they really want. So again, it's like, I think one girl he was talking to was like a lawyer, and it's like, you know, use all those fancy words for the courtroom and all the expressiveness and lots of stuff, but if you want to talk one-on-one with a guy about really serious stuff, just keep it simple. I don't think that's just for a guy thing. I think it's just for anything really serious you want to talk about. Don't get too caught up in define things for clarity. Don't try and say, well, oh, this is the specific definition of this word, and in the dictionary this is how this means, and blah blah blah. That's more of an ego thing, to try and say, look, I know better than you, therefore I'm right, therefore you're wrong, therefore I'm going to win this argument, which is not what you really want to have when you're discussing pretty serious issues, particularly when it comes to relationships and dynamics. What you want is a really good bead on where people are at, where their head is at. Even if you can like go, wait a minute, you're getting all confused here and you're confusing me, can you keep it simple? Even if you just say to someone like, my head's all over the shop, and I've done that before. So look, I'm trying to explain, my head's all over the shop, can you just be patient with me? I'm trying to figure out the words. The words I'm using may not be accurate, but this is kind of what I'm feeling, thinking, you know, if you kind of get my drift. You know, you don't have to say, oh, well, you know, this isn't the right definition of that, that's not the right definition for that. You know, in my experience in this and that, yeah, it's it's hard to I guess talk to people about serious stuff. I know in particular a lot of women will talk around a subject and not directly express the subject. They'll say things like, oh, well, you know, most people do this and most people do that, and I kind of, you know, they give vague. I don't like speaking vague. Be specific. If you go things, oh, well, my friends think this and my friends think that, you know what someone listening to that is going to think? You don't have a mind of your own. You don't know what you want. You're just going to bow to whatever your friends want. You don't really pay attention to me. You're not really considering my point of view. All you're considering is your friend's point of view. And where are your friends at? Are they happily in a dynamic, happily in a relationship, all that sort of stuff? That's what goes through a lot of people's minds. It's if you keep doing a lot of that stuff, I don't know. Communication is difficult. I communicate a lot in various different medias with a lot of people, and it is very, very difficult because to be able to explain to somebody what you mean in different contexts, and particularly these days because everyone gets offended at everything. that's the thing, to be able to sit down and say, we're going to have a frank, upfront discussion, use whatever words, don't care if I'm offended or not, we need to get straight to the point. And that's the thing. Because of political correctness, there's no longer that meaningful communication, no longer that direct, meaningful communication. It's all vagaries and dancing around the subject and suppose this and suppose that and perhaps this, and people think this and people think that. There are only the people involved in the relationship. Who gives a shit what other people think? And who cares about me? I don't really care about what my family thinks. I don't hide it, but I don't sort of shove it in their face. One of my parents knows about my life, and they're like, I don't really want to know, as long as you're happy. And that's pretty much all that should really matter. Some people have what do they call it? It's not like an ultimatum. It's I forget the word for it. Deal breaker. The term deal breakers. Now, I wonder if they really are deal breakers or not. Like, is it the thing with deal breakers? I've got to look at it as is it a want versus a need thing? Are they really deal breakers, or are they just wants, and they're not going to settle for anything else? We've talked about settling, compromise. We've talked about wants and needs. Could they survive without it? I mean, a lot of people I know these days, they don't want to downgrade their lifestyle. Not even temporarily. They just say, look, I don't care what you want. I want this. This is the lifestyle I want. You're going to give it to me. I don't care if you have to work 10, 15, 20 hours a day. If you're, 6-7 days a week, I don't care. This is my life. This is my lifestyle, and you're going to provide it for me. And that's really a horrible way to live, because a lot of people think that they're strong and independent. I'm going, well, if you're relying on somebody to provide you with a lifestyle, you're not really strong and independent. You're really a bratty child that chucks a temper tantrum because they're spoiled. Oh well. Anyway, hump day, and I best get to work. Okay? I think I've rambled on enough, and I hope you guys have a good day. It's a bit overcast, as you can see behind me. It may or may not rain. I don't want it to rain. It's enough rain. I'm going to try and get rid of this cough and cold. It's not helping. Because the temperature gets so hot and then it gets really cold, so you catch chills, and then you get a cough and a cold. Doesn't appear to go away. Just when I think it's going away, it does this. Goes, oh yes, I'll be like 28 degrees during the day, and then I'll suddenly blow in and then rain and drop to like 10. Sweating 1 minute, getting chills the next. Anyway, catch you guys later. Have a good hump day. Bye.